When it comes to apathy, there's a client who is actually from Austria, and I was on a call with him. And to book his first call, it took like a few weeks. And I kept messaging him, hey, here's the schedule, book your call, let's get it going. And after a few weeks, I email him, I'm like, hey, get on Skype, let's do this, what's going on? Why do you keep procrastinating? Why do you keep putting it off? And he answers, hey, sorry, my mom just passed away. So I felt really bad. I was like, oh my God, sorry man, like take your time, completely understand, let me know if I can help. The call may help, we can dive into some of it. And he answers, oh no, it's cool. Yeah, I'll just jump on. And I'm like, that's a little casual for what just happened. And then we get on the call and I'm expecting him to be all torn up, emotional, and he was just very logical, very Austrian, very German, just and I told him, like, so would you like to talk about what happened? He's like, well, I guess so, but, you know, life's life. I'm like, what do you mean life's life? Like, your mom just passed away. He's like, yeah, but, you know, it happens. I'm like, what do you feel around it? He's like, well, you know, people are born, people go. Just this very logical thing. And diving into it, I found out that his father passed away 5 years prior to that. And when his mom passed away, he said he didn't really cry, maybe a little bit of a tear. The only time he cried before that was 5 years ago, a little bit when his dad passed away, and he can't remember before that. And he's like, his whole life, he's just been chasing different degrees, getting his bachelor's, his master's, his PhD, so on and so forth. Really smart guy, really intellectual guy, but everything is filtered through logicality. It's all just mental. Do you feel anything in terms of your mom passing away? Well, mentally, check, 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 check. What's the purpose of life? Well, mentally, get bachelor, get master, get PhD, get job, keep it going. And everything was like that. I'm like, what about your relationship situation, your friendship situation? Well, I have some I see at work, but I don't really like hanging out with people that much because at least in this situation, we don't resonate with the same points. They don't like talking about this, right? And what was he lacking? What was the thing that really made him jump on this coaching? He wanted to feel more and connect more. And I told him, hey, okay, step one, let's start feeling. And we did a release, and he was able to feel at least a little bit in terms of some of the tragedies in his life. But even beyond that, in terms of socializing with people, I said, hey, at work, go and talk to anyone. And he's like, but some of them are not as smart, and they won't be able to fuel my next goal. And I'm like, that's not the point. And he's like, well, why would I talk to them if there is no logical point, right? But the logical point isn't even the conversation. It's not the topic. Doesn't have to be an outcome all the time. The point is to connect with someone. That's the whole point of vibing, the whole point of socializing. You do it, why? Just for the experience, for experiencing someone else. And this is something that not many people talk about. Society takes it out of you. Even a lot of the advice when it comes to socializing doesn't say this. It's like, okay, well, you have trouble socializing. Instead of just connecting with someone, here's what you say. And then it becomes this very chess match game in terms of the different things you say or do. As opposed to, what about just talking for the sake of talking? And I'm sure you've had that experience where you just get lost in a conversation and time flies by. Does it matter what you talk about? No. What if it doesn't lead anywhere logically? It's fine. You're there just to connect with someone. We're social beings. We're here to connect with people in the world. And that was some of the first challenges I gave him. Talk to those people. See what it's like to feel. And it's fine if there's resistance at first. It's fine if your mind's like, well, this person's not even into self-help. They don't grasp the nuanced concepts of letting go, etc., etc. I'm like, that's fine. They only like talking about sports. That's fine. Vibe with everyone. Stop being so mental and judgmental, just filtering only that person because there's a goal. I talk to people who only talk about sports. Am I a big sports person? No. Do I know a lot about sports? No. Do I find sports the most fascinating topic? Of course not. But I love connecting with people. And that is something to dive into, okay? Get in the body, get out of the mind. There's more to life than this logical goal, outcome. Everything must have some kind of plan and must lead to the next thing and that thing. Just do things for the sake of doing things. Here's another challenge you can give yourself. Go out with some of your friends to a restaurant or a bar. Don't drink. Just sit at a table. You can get like some water or soda water. And just sit there with no purpose at all than just sitting there for 3 hours together and just see what happens. Because what we also realize doing this audit on our life is even when we're with friends, there's usually a certain purpose. It's like, okay, well, we're here to work on our social skills. We're here to do this work task. We're here to learn this, to talk about this. What about just sitting there and just staying there with no point to it? And it'll feel really weird at first, really awkward. But with time, you'll start getting a feel for, just talking to talk. The purposeless talk in a beautiful way. What is life? The purposeless life. Logically, you can try to break it down as much as you want. Well, life is the evolution of this. At least it's like, okay, but in the end, what is it really? It's just an experience. Life is an experience. Everything you're doing, everything you're after, is just an experience. Don't get so lost into trying to only find mental meaning. Find experiential meaning. Even in terms of different goals and outcomes that you're after. By all means, go for it. But why are you even going for that goal? For the experience of it. Live for experience. That's what I do. Oh, but I want to accomplish that goal. Great, I'm going to go for it, but I'm going to love every part of it, including the contrast. And this is something I personally remind myself of all the time. The ups and downs are what make the experience of life life. That's what makes it captivating and worth living. We all think logically, we want everything to go according to plan and be great. But if that were to happen, we would be in complete apathy. We wouldn't feel. That's what makes life pointless, if everything just went according to plan. It was just flat, 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 flat. So embrace the ups and downs. Are some of the downs horrible? Of course. You know? But feel your way through it. Think of it as, it's not my it's like eating the vegetables off, as a kid. It's like, it's not my favorite, but it adds the contrast. And guess what? It is what it is. You have a choice. Is life always fair? Not necessarily. Does a lot of really messed up things happen in life? Of course. But as it is now, it's like that's what it is. You can resist it and hate it and give up and withdraw. Or you can just roll with and ride. Roll with the punches. You have all eternity to be dead. Why not just roll with the punches while you're here and open yourself up to whatever happens, whatever you experience while here? And take in the larger sense of unity. And I can't stress this point enough. My biggest cheat code, as a coach, is that I see way more behind the scenes than any of you. Me coaching this, I actually get way more out of it than all of you. Why? Because what you just experienced here with the people sharing, getting that glimpse of behind the scenes, I see it all the time. I never lose touch with it because I'm always seeing the behind the scenes. Here you might have a glimpse, you go back in the real world, are you going to see a lot of that? No. And it's very easy to get lost into, it's just me. Oh, it's so bad for me, I'm alone in my pain. No, you're not. Not only are you not alone in your pain, but the more you see behind the scenes, the more you see how a lot of people have it far worse than you, no matter how bad what you're experiencing is. That was my biggest shocker when I started coaching this, by the way. I'm like, okay, getting into this saved my life. Let me dive into it and see if I can help some people. Even just on the surface, when it comes to being confident, putting yourself out there. And the more I started diving into it and really hearing the stories, which even what you just heard here is nothing compared to some of the stuff that people have going on in their lives. I'm sure a lot of you even have stuff where you're still a little bit holding back, or what just wouldn't be appropriate to share here. But seeing a lot behind that, my first realization was, oh my God, I thought my little problems were so bad. In reality, I'm in the top 1%. I literally am. The mind creates all these stories and it's so horrible. Do you realize this is this? And then you hear someone, you're like, oh my God. It's absolutely baffling. Okay? A book I would actually highly recommend reading. It's probably the worst book you'll ever read in your life. Man's Search for Meaning. Read that book. All right? Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. It's his story of surviving the concentration camps. Worst story over here. You read that, trust me, no matter how bad what you're going through is, you're just going to feel like, wow, my problems are absolutely nothing compared to what this guy went through or some of these people went through. We try to avoid it. We shy away from it. Oh, I don't like reading uncomfortable stories. No, do read it. You need the perspective. And it's not in this way of like, okay, you know, getting all nihilistic and sad, like, oh, it's just pain, pain, pain. It's like, it's part of life. We're in it together. You have all eternity to be dead. Let's open yourself up to what's there. And if it does get hard, remember, you're not alone. That knowingness that you're not alone in sharing this experience, sharing the highs and the lows, is so powerful, and it keeps you going. If you genuinely, like, part of you is like, you know what, screw this, you wouldn't be here. So embrace it. Think of the worst things that happen to you, right? What about challenging thought, being grateful that you're alive to being able to experience some of those horrible things? Because you could always be dead. If you didn't agree, you'd already be dead. So that means a part of you would rather be alive and experience those ups and downs than be dead. Or you wouldn't be here, you'd be dead. Right? For real. Like, if you didn't prefer experiencing the highs and lows that is life, you'd be dead. Being truly honest. So, since you don't want to be dead, embrace it all. Because trust me, I mean, a lot of people would much rather be grateful to be alive, to experience these really highs and lows, than to be dead. Probably a lot of people who are dead would switch places with you to experience those highs and lows, because it's better than experiencing nothingness.
When's the point where you pushed and now it's okay to take time off without judging yourself? You know, like where's the line? 'Cause like
there is no right line. It's like, that's the whole thing. It's based on what you just said here, similar to that example, are you living life, or are you trying to prove yourself to the universe, to God, to whatever? Are you trying to justify your existence? That's the question. What does it imply? Universe, or Julien, or God. Same thing. No, I'm kidding. It's like, when is it okay for me to relax? I'm like, who says that there are all these rules, that you have to do this in the first place? Who says that you can't relax right now? Who says that you have to do X amount and then relax? No one. We place all those goals on ourselves. If you feel like relaxing, relax completely. Oh, but what if I don't achieve as much as the hustlers? So what? Who says you have to? I respect just as much, by the way, and I mentioned this at the free tour. I talked about, like, if you don't have X amount of money, pathetic, unless it's by choice. If it's by choice and someone's like, you know what, I'd rather just chill, respect. There is no better way. Like, again, it's the whole, like, labeling. This is good, this is bad. This is good, this is bad. What if there is no good or bad? What if there is, that's my view of life, what if there is no point? Not in a, again, this is very subtle. What if there's no point? Oh, then why do anything? Or what if there's no point? I'm free to make my own point, as opposed to being a slave to an imposed point, right? But it's also scary at the same time, because now it's like, well, it's on me, my responsibility. What do I even want? You're free to do that. You're free to discover it. No one says you have to do this or that. But we're always used to also looking externally. It's like, what are others doing? Oh, is that okay? Well, it's like, what about me? That's something to sink into. It's like, you're going to die. So remember that. Your time here is not forever. Now, funny enough, what does this do, though? It actually adds a depth to your experience, right? If you were to live forever, you'd probably also fall into apathy. Because it would just be, okay, I'm here forever. It's like, even say a fine piece of food. Whatever your favorite food is, imagine I gave you, okay, infinite amounts. You would eat it and you'd probably be like, oh, great. But then after a few bites, you're like, oh, I'm just eating the thing. Versus, okay, just the small little bite. You would take that bite and just savor every little subtle, taste that comes from that bite. What about life that way? Life forever, or you only get this. Let's milk it, a perspective to take. So on your end, it's, what do you want to do? Do you want to relax a bit? Do you want to work more? And then just follow that. And don't worry about what other people say or think, because that's the thing. Well, what will my friends think? What will the self-help business gurus think? Doesn't matter. A lot of people live for the approval of others, strangers even, or their friends. They live for the approval of their parents. That'll run them, most people, their entire lives. Even if you might be like, okay, I hate my parents, I moved to the other side of the world, screw my parents, you're still being run by them. You're not in the physical area, but there's still, like you could say, that energetic link that's not severed. And then they try to live up to the approval of the universe or God, justifying why you're alive. There has to be a point. I have to prove my worth. No, just enjoy the ride. Do you? You know? What's your meaning? What would be a meaning that would make your experience here amazing? Yeah. Yes?
Yeah, so going back to the free tour, you talked a bit more, I noticed that you talked a bit more like aggressively. You tapped into quote-unquote more lower vibrational realms in order to like not get people to zone out, right? So now we pay for this event, you're a bit more, you're acting a bit more different.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask, could you elaborate on authenticity, maybe even as a coach, when you act like this?
Yeah, this is, so think of it like this. Part of a conversation, which is what we're having here, which is what a free tour is, which is even what we're doing tomorrow, there's the advanced one for those of you who come in, involves two people, two parties. There's me and there's you. There's me and there's the crowd. Now, authenticity above all else, 100%. Whenever I speak to a crowd, I will try to never ever compromise my authenticity. Am I always authentic? Of course not. But I will try to not compromise it. But the other part of my authentic intention in that moment, having a conversation, is also to connect with you or the crowd. All right? So it's authenticity and relatability. Me being inauthentic would also be speaking in a way that's unrelatable. So people interpret that like this whole idea of authenticity. Okay, I'm gonna go to work and I'm at work right now. You know what would be authentic? Pissing all over the desk. That's what I authentically feel like doing right now. And they're like, well, no, you're at work, there's no pissing. And you're like, well, I'm not gonna compromise my authenticity. Julien told me authenticity above all else, let's just piss. No, because again, there's a certain context, and I mean, you can if you like, but then it's unrelatable. So for me, when I'm talking to someone, when I'm doing an event, I'm always aware of what's authentic within me, but I will act in a way where it also clicks with them. So if you think of it like, which I don't have the, oh yeah. Okay. You can think of it like this. Okay, authenticity, relatability. This is the sweet spot. Here, it's like, again, I'm going to piss on the desk. Can't relate. This is, you know, knowing even my crowd, what'll connect with them. This is me saying, okay, I'm going to talk about something that they won't even relate with in a way where they're going to zone out. Or I can find a way where I'm still authentic and relatable. So it's finding that middle ground. Now with a free event, because it's free, there's a lot less investment on the people there. So it's a lot easier to zone out because there's nothing to lose. I talked about this. It's called ROI thinking. Always looking for a return on your investment. If you invested nothing, your mind's not going to be busy looking for a return because it's free. So people will tend to zone out, not care as much, be a little bit more surface focused even. They won't even activate their mind to comprehend more nuanced points because it's free. Why would I exert the mental energy to try to comprehend that? So there's certain things that I can only say at paid events that I can't say at free events. There's certain ways of talking that I can only say at paid events that I can't say at free events. So understanding that, knowing that a free event, you know, people are a little bit more, people aren't really familiar, in order for me to connect with them, to have a good conversation, I'm gonna be me, but I'm also, you know, bring it.
So even though you act differently, it's
still me. It's just a different part of me, yeah.
So it's not transformation over everything, so it's like a combination of...
Yes, my intention is to connect with the crowd. That's my authentic intention. So I'm going to do that. The same as, you know, when I meet someone new, depending on the person, I might say or talk about different things. If I meet someone in a very serious business context, I'm not going to say some completely inappropriate jokes. Although they might be authentic to me and I find them hilarious. Why? Because my intention is to connect with the person. It's to be me and connect. Anything that compromises being me and connecting is in a way also inauthentic. Yeah. So, yeah, the free tour is a very different vibe. Is it a better vibe or not? I don't know. I love both. They're just different expressions of me. It's like if I compose a song, bands will do this. There's, say you listen to like a rock album, there's somewhere they go all out and somewhere it's like, oh, here's a chill song. Are any better? They're just different.
Yeah, it's funny when you talk with people who went to the free tour and people think, yeah, this Julien guy, he's such a hype man, he's so aggressive, but you're just like talking to their level of energy, right?
Try to pierce through. I try to connect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll keep things a little bit more simple. Yeah. I won't go as deep or say, contemplating the nature of life and the point of life, per se. But it's fun. I love it. And it's like, okay, again, me being me and what'll connect with them. How can I reach them? Boom, like that. And then even with this event, there's a certain shift in terms of how I speak earlier on versus now. Because what's happening throughout the event, it's like, one, you all have some skin in the game, so there's way more opening. Okay, you'll be more open to different complex ideas. There's things I can say here that I would never say at a free tour. And not only that, but as we progress throughout, there's more investment on your side, aka more opening, and we start cracking through the different layers. Through the different layers of like, resistance, ego, so on and so forth. So something like this, even my way of talking, or this topic now, if I started this event like this, it wouldn't connect the same way. Make sense? Okay.
Just one thing.
Yeah.
But as a coach, in order to talk like you do to different levels of energy or consciousness, you should be properly through those scales, right?
Yeah, like I can bring up, but it's always like my intention, okay, it's how can I summon that part of me? And the intention is always connect and help. So, for example, here's another Skype client example. This guy, he had a lot of resistance and fear around anger and confrontation. And whenever there'd be some kind of argument, he would shut down. Now, is it good to argue and have confrontations and yell and fight? Of course not, but it is a part of life. And there is a constructive way of going about it and a non-constructive way. Most people go the non-constructive route. But him, he just was avoiding it completely. So to trigger that in him, to then dive into it, I'm like, well, let's act it out. And I can summon that. And I just summon like, boom, just straight to the point. Like, say, he was talking about like this argument with his neighbor. It's like, say I'm your neighbor. And he's like, then the neighbor was saying rude things to me and I didn't know how to react. I'm like, well, let me say it. Okay, what was the neighbor saying? Oh, he just called me dumb. He said I look very simple. So I'm like, let's do it. Why are you so pathetic you can't even talk back in a conversation? Yeah. No, don't even say yeah. Why are you so fucking dumb?
Yeah, fuck you, man.
Well, now you're try hard. That's your answer, try hard? You know how pathetic this is that you even have to, don't even yell. You have to like get a coaching and pay money because you're too pathetic to get into an argument. Yeah, now you agree. Really? No, I'm not even kidding. Like, seriously, do you know how dumb you look? Look, you think that's going to help? Dude, you qualifying yourself just makes you look dumber. Yeah, now cross your little arms. Yeah, smile. Now it's done. Yeah, I know I'm right. You're probably hoping I end this example soon. I'm not. No, I am. Yeah. No, but you, so it's like, you immediately feel it. You're like, whoa. So now if the only way I can do this is like here my intention is to illustrate it because it'll help. Yeah. For him it's to trigger it so it'll help. So it's always that authentic vibe behind it, but that's what allows me to like access it fast. And I will say in terms of coaching and socializing, it teaches you how to quickly summon different aspects or different states. So I'm sure you've had this experience. You're socializing, you're in the flow, you're in the moment, right? The last thing you want to do when you're in a very social flow is be logical and start thinking. It's the last thing you want to do. Why? Because it takes you out of your flow. Now, when I was coaching a lot of people while out, we're out there talking to people. I'm there with you. Say it's me and you and we're talking to him. We just met him. We're like, hey man, how's it going? We're chatting. And I want to illustrate some subtleties when it comes to socializing and communicating. So I might pause and be like, okay, What's the difference between my vibe and your vibe? And we start breaking it down. How do you feel? And you're like, oh, I'm kind of out of it. Okay, let's logically break it down. Try this as this. And then immediately, I'm back in the flow. And then I switch back to you. And it's like this constant, and then say there's another client, different state, different advice. It's like flow, this, think, this, flow, this, flow, flow. That was the hardest thing in the very beginning when it came to coaching. You know, people would think like, oh, weren't you afraid in terms of your ego? Because say we go out and you're like, Julien, teach me how to socialize. Go do it. Yeah. That's a lot of pressure. It's like, and I'm in, say, a new country. I don't even know the language. I'm alone. It's like, go do it. Yeah. You know, and there were times where it was scary. But that was actually not the scariest. The scariest was just traveling and being alone for such a long period of time. The behind the scenes, you know. But no, the hardest was the constant back and forth, where either I was in a flow and I had trouble getting logical. I was like, oh, just be in the flow. Or I'd get all logical and then I was like, they're like, demo. And I'm like, no, let's logically talk more. And then, you know, you learn very fast. So I think that brings in the tool where now I can like summon different things, but for different purposes. Even the idea of social intelligence, like the fact that, being very modest, I've talked and socialized with so many people, I can get a very subtle read in terms of subcommunications. So during a release like this, it's not just me being like, okay, here we go, like a robot. It's, I'm like connecting with you. Like if you ever see any video of me doing it, assistants tell me this when they sit at the back, they're like, oh my God. Or if you ever maybe got out of it and open your eyes, I look like a possessed maniac up here. It's insane, you know, because I get fully taken into it. Like I'm in it, I'm present, I'm connected, and I'll feel different people react differently to different things I say. I'll say this and maybe you'll react a certain way. I'll say it this way and you'll react a certain way. I'll say this and I see, ooh, it's coming up, but there's still some resistance to feeling it. But I'll also see you react to that same topic. So I'll like go to you maybe, because there's less resistance, make it pop in you, and then through the law of state transference, it'll transfer down, and then he'll feel it, and then that'll transfer. So it's this whole, you know, like emotional chess piece to help you release while knowing what to say, how to say it, to trigger things while reading all the facial and emotional cues. It's crazy. I love it. That's like my, you know, even thinking about, say, socializing, like that's my like masterpiece, you know. So it's a lot of these tools that I picked up through all these years that now help facilitate this type of work, you know, built on the framework of bringing it up and letting it go.
Through experience, you can either be like, you need to start doing it, you're pathetic, or you can be like, get love and release.
But it's also a, it's still an allowing process. Like I summon it. It's like the whole power versus force, David Hawkins. It's from a place of power. If I try to force it, so even here, it's like, say I want to be harsh, I'll let it out and like I did before. Like seriously, what? Versus what? You know, it's a different.
All right, thanks.